Okay, well, that's what's happening here. Okay. And again, I know the TVM Solver, I think it's in certain graphing calculators, but again, it's not in Desmos, which is unfortunate. But again, it's on that GeoGebra link. The link is here. If that link doesn't work, let me know, please, okay? But I'm pretty confident it still works though. I know the textbook shows you how to use the TVM Solver if you have a TI-83 calculator. Okay. All right. Let's do some examples of this, okay? Suppose you're putting $100 a month into an account, okay? And it's earning 6% interest, and it's being compounded monthly. Okay, again, on the exam, you can either solve it using the formula or the TVM solver, whichever you prefer. I think I said on the exam, well, I did post an announcement where you are to round the answer to 2 decimal places. So, okay, we want to know how much will be in the account after 15 years. And we're also going to we also are going to determine how much money we put into the account and how much total interest we earn. And since we have many deposits, right, we're putting money in each month, right? So because of that, we have an annuity. Okay, so of course, if we're going to use the formula, then I'll show you how to use the TVM solver. Okay, so here, right, the amount is what we're looking for, right? That's unknown. We're trying to figure out how much is in the account later on. The PMT is our regular deposit. You know, how much is going into the account each month in this case. That's $100. That's a sum that we're assuming that. R is the annual interest rate. R is the annual interest rate, okay? And that, of course, is in decimal form when you use the formula, which in this case is 0.06. Okay? How many compounding periods are there in a year? That's what N is, right? You know, let me just, N, little n, is how many times the account is compounded in 1 year. Well, if it's compounded monthly, that's going to be 12, right? And how many years is this going on? 15 years. So we're using our formula here, as you can see. Okay. Okay, so we have all this. And again, you want to handle it one step at a time. I mean, you could work out each individual step in Excel. I think I mentioned that when I actually did chapter 6. But again, if you do this, 0.06 over 12 is 0.005, right? 12 to the 15, 12 times 15 is 180, as you can see. 1 plus 0.005, right? That is 1.005, okay? This stuff you would have to do in a calculator, as you can see. Okay, this here is this amount. You want to round at the very end. Notice that I'm not rounding to 2 decimal places here. I'm rounding to way more than that, okay? I mean, the more, of course, you use, the more accurate your answer is. So, okay. So from here we get this and so on. So again, we want to make sure we round our answer at the end to 2 decimal places. So we're going to have $29,081.87. Now you could use that TVM solver. Really, the hard part is determining what the variables stand for. So for instance, here we want to know how much we'll have later on, right? We want to know how much we'll have in the future. So the FV is what we're looking for. PMT is $100 each month, right? $100 per month. So PMT is negative 100. Again, we're putting money into an account. So it's technically a negative number for the TVM solver. The interest, I, is 6%, as you can see. Capital N, remember, is little n times little t, which is how many compounding periods there are, or how many times compounding is done. So that's 12 times per year, times 15 years is 180 times. How much is in the account initially? 0. Sometimes you might have an exam. I don't think I didn't put one on the exam, but I know in the book they have those examples where suppose you in the account initially have some amount. That's what your PV would be. Here we have nothing in the account to start with, so PV is 0. P/Y and C/Y, right? How many times it's compounded per year, how many payments we make per year. They're both the same, so we get 12. If you know one of these, you know the other. They're always assumed to be 12. But if you do that in the TVM solver, you get the same amount. In fact, let me show you. It is. Okay, let me share the screen. That is, let me share the Chrome tab. Okay, here it comes. I hope. There it is. Okay, so now again, we want to put those in here. So as you can see, that it still works. The TVM solver on GeoGebra still works. So we have the FV, we don't know what that is. All right. So we already said capital N is 12 times 15. 12 times 15, which is of course 180. We said I is 6. The I, again, you leave as a percent. Did capital N. PMT, PV, there's nothing in there initially. PMT, that's negative 100. Okay. FB is what we're looking for. P/Y is 12, and so is this one. Okay. We want to know what FB is, so we solve for that. We get the same thing, as you can see. If instead we had this as 100 instead of negative, as you can see, I don't know if this will always be the case. You just end up negating FV. So, but that's what we get here. Okay. Are there any questions on that? So you can use the TVM solver on the exam. You just have to, the instructions are on the exam, but you have to explicitly say what each of the variables are. You want to show some work is what I'm saying. Okay, because I want to see that you know what you're doing. So, okay. All right, let me just see something. The next slide, I don't think we have time for that. Okay, yeah, we really have like 10 seconds left, so let me stop here. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.